Well, first, welcome to the as of right now live review that we're doing on twitch.tv/oh it's Mulligan. So yes, we are doing the review live here on Twitch. It is my first stream back after being gone for roughly 6 weeks or so due to back injury. So I figured we would just do a live reaction today and review the cards. The reaction probably won't get posted on YouTube. Probably not, due to music licensing issues that have been going on that the Riot team is working on when it comes to the card reviews. So I could have watched it without with no sound, which is what they've been recommending. Like, you just watch it with no sound, but I feel like it kind of ruined the experience. Like, I wouldn't get as hyped because I feel like the audio is important. But you think they fixed it so it didn't have any problems? Possibly. We might put it up. We might put it up. Especially with the way I did it. You might see it. All right, anyway. This is the review portion. So, the next champion is Nasus, as you can see. 6 mana, 2/2, fearsome, ascended. I have +1/+1 for each unit you've slain this game. And for Nasus to level up, he has to strike for 10 or more damage. Level 2, he's a 3/3 with fearsome, gains spell shield. He'll still have +1/+1 for each unit you've slain in the game. And enemies have -1/-0. If you restore the Sun Disc, he can go to level 3, where he's a 10/10, still has fearsome and spell shield, still has +1/+1 for each unit you've slain in the game, but this time enemies have -3/-0. So, if you can't tell where this is going, this is how Shurima is going to be doing a fearsome strategy. First thing I can think of is Nasus pairing with Shadow Isles. That is what they showed in the reveal trailer, is pairing Nasus with Shadow Isles, since Shadow Isles is the other region that's very good with fearsome. We even got a couple of Shurima cards. I can't think of them, all of them right now, but one's a 7 mana 6/6 that has fearsome that works well with a fearsome strategy. That's in Shurima. It got revealed with Renekton, I believe. So that was the very first reveal. So Nasus could possibly pair with that. He could do that's outside of Sundisk though, actually. You're probably gonna want to pair him with Sundisk. So you want to do like 100% Shurima. That's probably gonna be the best deck for Nasus. Is just Shurima, mono Shurima. So that way you can get the Sundisk out turn 1 and you're able to get him to level up to 3. But outside of that, you probably want to do Shadow Isles, since that seems to be the move. The enemies having -1/-0 just being permanent. It's like a beefed up Nocturne ability. Because Nocturne, if you activate Nightfall, he comes into play and he does the -1/-0, but only for the enemies already in play. If your opponent plays stuff after that, they won't have -1/-0. But Nasus is just a constant power. But he seems fairly late game too, being 6 mana. You have to kill things throughout the game for him to be sizable. I would think 3 to 4 enemies would probably be 3 to 4 units, not even enemies. 3 to 4 units. If you can kill 3 to 4 units by the time you play Nasus, he's probably pretty sizable. Okay, so Slay reads that you get credit for slaying an ally or enemy if one of your cards kills it via damage, strike, or direct kill effect. So in the case of Nasus, it's +1/+1, but there will probably be other cards. I haven't looked at them yet. We might have gotten cards today, but I haven't looked through all the rest of the spoilers yet, where you get some type of bonus for slaying a unit with one of your cards that ends up killing it. So yeah, this is stuff like not just removal spells that kill one of your enemies, but stuff that kills your allies as well. Most of the cards that kill your own allies come from Shadow Isles, so stuff like Ravenous Butcher, Chronicler of Ruin, things like that. So, but that's what Slay is. All right, I think Nasus will probably be pretty good. But I think if he's going to be in a Sundis deck, I might have mentioned this in a previous video. If I haven't, I'm mentioning it now. I think if you're going to do the whole Ascended thing, I think it's only truly worth it if you try and bring your Ascended units to level 3, your Ascended champions to level 3. So you'll probably want to play Nasus and Sundisc. That'll probably be his best deck, along with another Ascended, is what I was trying to get at. So maybe Nasus and Renekton, maybe Nasus and whatever other Ascended champion comes out, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be one more. I'm not going to say who it is, though, because no spoilers. And I don't want spoilers either. But if I had to guess, there's going to be one more. But yeah, that's all I got to say on Nasus. So let's talk about Siphoning Strike. 5 mana soul spell, an ally strikes a unit. If it dies, grant allied champions everywhere +2/+2. And you would create a Nasus in your deck if you cast it as Nasus's champion spell. I was saying in the reaction vid that it kind of reminded me of Concerted Strike, but slow speed instead. And instead of picking 2 allies to strike a unit, you just pick 1 and trade for granting allied champions everywhere +2/+2. Trade the second strike from your second ally for that buff. So this is gonna go good in strats that have the ability to create extra copies of their champions. So I talked about this working with Talia during the reaction portion of this whole thing, because they showed off a combo with Talia where you casted that spell that was 3 mana that would turn your ally into a statue, and you could play your other copy of Talia to copy the statue, and then when the statues hit 0 countdown, then they turn back into Talias and you end up with 3 Talias. So in that situation, if you Siphoning Striked earlier, all those Talias will be buffed at level 2. They'd be 5/7s. Anivia is another one I can think of off the top of my head. Anivia decks are pretty good at making more copies of Anivia. There's others too. There's other decks, other strats that aren't seen as much. So I do think Siphoning Strike on its own is a little bit expensive, but worst case scenario, this just gets casted as a champion spell. That'll be worst case scenario for Siphoning Strike, but I could see the potential. All right, Rite of Calling. 0 mana slow spell, kill an ally or destroy a mana gem to draw a champion. So we are getting another card that destroys your own mana gems. That's cool. This can be used with Nasus, not only Nasus, but Renekton as well. Or, well, not so much Renekton himself, but there was another card that got revealed with Renekton that allowed you to kill an enemy unit if you had less mana gems than your opponent. So otherwise it would give it like -4 attack. I can't remember the name of it right now. It wasn't Quicksand, it was another spell that I believe cost 2 mana. 2 or 3. One of those. But so that card might see a bit more play now, because it has now we have Rite of Calling, and we have Renekton's champion spell as well. No, not Renekton's champion spell. It was another card. There was a 2-card combo that got revealed day 1. I just can't remember the names of the cards, but Rite of Calling makes that 2-card combo more consistent, is what I'm trying to say, basically. Unworthy, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah, Unworthy. This makes Unworthy more consistent, which is cool. All right, Spirit Fire. 7 mana, burst spell. Give enemies -2/-0 in round end. Deal 2 to me this round. So they hit themselves. That's funny. 7 mana though. 7 mana. Is that worth? That kind of seems worth. It feels a little expensive, but it is a burst spell. I can see Nasus. I can see this kind of being a finishing spell for Nasus decks, or just fearsome decks in general, like where they just cast this and you just swing all with all your fearsome units. You just kill your opponent. I think as a spell, as a board wipe, since the enemy units are gonna deal 2 to themselves at the end of the round, as a board wipe alone, it's a bit weak. I think if you're gonna play Spirit Fire, it needs to be in a deck that can take advantage of all of the text on here, not just the round end part, but the giving enemies -2, -0. So I don't see Spirit Fire getting played outside of fearsome style decks. You could do some shenanigans in combat too, though. Or like you open attack and then your opponent blocks thinking they're fine, and then you throw Spirit Fire down, and then all of a sudden their stuff doesn't trade with yours anymore. So you kind of get a pseudo board wipe with that at burst speed. So there's other cards in the game that can do that, but none of the ones I'm thinking of are at burst speed. Like Judgment's like the next fastest one that's at fast speed, and that's 8 mana. So I think it's all right. If it doesn't see play, I won't be surprised. But I think that's only because you can only play Spirit Fire in very specific decks. It's not that flexible of a card. So we have switched scenes. Well, we switched graphics. We switched over to Kozmic's all-in-one graphic. Big shout out to Kozmic for putting these graphics together for all the cards that get revealed. He's been doing it for a long time, since Rising Tides. Anytime we get spoilers for each day, he puts one of these together pretty quickly. So feel free to check out Kozmic at his Twitch stream. Link is above in the top right. He streams at night. You guys want to know? Usually Legends of Runeterra, though I think tonight he's streaming something else. But usually it's Legends of Runeterra. Anyway, so we've talked about Nasus. We've talked about Siphoning Strike, Rite of Calling, and Spirit Fire. Let's talk Baccai Reaper, or Baccai, or Baccai. I still don't know how to pronounce this. 1 mana, 1/2, fearsome. When you slay a unit, grant me +1/+0. So this has to be in play for you to get the bonuses, but the nice thing is that it's an early unit that you can play as early as round 1. So this will probably get played in Nasus decks. Don't know if it's going to see play outside of Nasus or just fearsome in general, but I like it. I think it's decent. I don't think it's terrible at all. I can kind of see why it starts off as a 1/2 with this ability as well. And the nice thing is that fearsome means that you can attack in with this thing, and then 2/1s can't block it. Like, whatever blocks it needs to have 3 power. So it'll trade. You don't have to worry about this trading off against most other popular 1-drops. Very few of the popular 1-drops actually have 3 attack. Actually, I don't think any of them have 3 attack right now. The last one that got played was Legion. I want to say Rearguard, the 3/1 that can't block. But pretty much every popular 1-drop has not had more than 2 power. There's Stygian Onlooker, which can get 4 power, but you don't want to you don't want to block with Stygian Onlooker. The point of Stygian Onlooker is to attack, not block. Like, blocking with Onlooker is terrible. But yeah, true as well. Early fearsome units are excellent, because that's when they're at their best, within the first 3 rounds of any game. That's when fearsome units are at their best, because that's when they're the hardest to block. Like, as the game goes on, it gets easier and easier to block fearsome units, because people are playing bigger and bigger units that have more power. So yeah, Solari Soldier as well, true. Solari Soldier, he's a 3/3 when he comes down, and yeah, the 3/1 in Shurima the power creeped Legion Rearguard. Literally the same card, except it can block. So there's that one. Although I'm hesitant on that one. I'm not sure. Like, that's only going to get played if Shurima has an aggro deck. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I forgot about Solari Soldier. How could I forget about Solari Soldier? Solari Soldier is like broken. Anyway. All right, Weight of Judgment, 4 mana soul spell, deal 2 to a champion or 7 to a follower. Wow. That's such a, this one's weird. 2 to a champion or 7 to a follower. Wow. So if you target a follower, this is insanely efficient. It's like the most efficient removal we've ever had in the game, like ever. 7 damage for 4 mana. But if you target a champ, it's only 2 damage, which, so Weight of Judgment probably gets played depending on, if Weight of Judgment was in the game now, it would get played now for sure. With the current meta, because Twisted Fate is everywhere and Twisted Fate's a 2/2. So Weight of Judgment, well, like, you're spending the same amount of mana on Weight of Judgment to as they spent playing Twisted Fate. So I like Weight of Judgment. I think it's cool. It's a cool card. There's metas where it won't see play, but like I'm not gonna say it's a staple, but yeah, I think if we have metas with low statted champions like running everything, being the most popular, then Weight of Judgment is like, Shurima is just gonna slap this in. Most Shurima decks will slap this in. Yeah, true. It does level Swain. If you hit a follower with Weight of Judgment, it's 7 damage out of the 12 you need for Swain, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, if Swain ends up working pretty well with Shurima, then I could definitely see them playing Weight of Judgment. Right. Rampaging Baccai. I'm just gonna say Baccai because that sounds the coolest, even if it's wrong. 5 mana, 4/6, overwhelm. Play skill, Baccai Rampage. If you've slain 4+ units this game, an enemy and I strike each other. If you've slain 4+ units this game, an enemy and I strike each other. So yeah, this is definitely Nasus, built to be played with Nasus for sure. So we did get a follower that has the Slay mechanic after all. Well, we got 2, Baccai Reaper and Rampaging Baccai. Okay, it seems fine. It seems all right. Yeah, I think if you're not playing Shadow Isles or Nasus, or just multiple ways in Shurima to kill your opponent's units or kill your own units, then you don't play this card. But yeah, those are the only 2 styles of deck where this works. You play a lot of Shurima cards that kill units or kill your own allies, or you play Shadow Isles with this. Because 4 does seem like a little high. Like, I can imagine, like, I could imagine this only working with Shadow Isles, to be honest. Like, you'd have to play cards that both slay your own allies and kill your opponent's units. So you might have to play this with Shadow Isles only. If you want this to go off on round 5 anyway when you play it. Yeah, it's like a free single combat, pretty much. It can be countered just like single combat can, but yeah, you pay 5, get a 4/6, and then single combat something as this comes in. It's not bad, especially since this has 6 health, so it's gonna survive most hits. So, all right, we talked about Spirit Fire. So the last card is Sanctum Conservator. 8 mana, 8/5, fearsome. Play skill is called Conservator's Judgment. If you've slain 13 or more units this game, kill all enemy followers, then summon a copy of me. 13 seems like a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I think this you definitely play with Shadow Isles. I mean, they showed off Nasus in a Shadow Isles deck. So I think the Sanctum you definitely play it with Shadow Isles. Because 13 seems like a lot, so you need to be like, if you want to be able to get that off as quickly as possible, I think you have to play it with Shadow Isles. I mean, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like Shurima has that many cards that kill units, whether they're allies or enemies. You think it's still a better Ruination without using a card slot for it? Do you think it's good? I think Ruination's a better card, but this is more situational. Now, if you pull it off, yes, it is stronger than Ruination. Well, even then, it might not be, because it doesn't kill champions. Ruination just kills everything, but you don't get a body. You pay 9, you don't get a body, but you kill everything. Whereas this, you pay 8. If you already killed 13 things earlier in the game, then you kill all enemy followers. Their champions are still alive, but then you get 2 8/5s. It's close. It's close, and as far as effect, it's close. It's at least the same power level wise, roughly, as Ruination if you get the play skill off, or better. The fearsome doesn't really matter that much, only because this is round 8. People are gonna have ways to block this by round 8. Like, fearsome falls off before round 8 pretty hard. Usually by like round 4 and onward, that's when fearsome really starts to fall off, because then your opponent actually does have blockers for your fearsome units. So, and this doesn't have that much health for an 8 drop anyway. 5 health is good. Like, it does dodge most damage based removal, but it's low for an 8 drop. So I don't know. I don't think it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't think. I think as long as you pair it with Shadow Isles, it's not terrible. It is a nice way for Shadow Isles decks that are unit heavy to like run a board wipe, because before, like, your only option was Ruination, and that was like reserved for control decks usually that didn't run a lot of units. But now you can, if you're doing like the Nasus synergies and all that, you can run this with Shadow Isles and then still kind of have a Ruination, a one-sided one. So I think overall it's all right. It's okay. You include it if you build your entire deck around slaying stuff, which, I mean, that's what this reveal was about, showing off Nasus and the cards that go with it. So it's a payoff. It's a payoff for slaying units. All the units shown today are payoff cards for slaying units. So now it's just about it's just about finding enough cards to either kill your own allies or kill your enemies. So I think Nasus will replace They Who Endure slot in Endure decks, since those decks have a lot of stuff to kill their own units. Atrocity Nasus is good since he already gets Spell Shield. I could see it, just because the problem with Endure decks is that they're extremely vulnerable to silence effects, and it's specifically They Who Endure that's vulnerable to silence effects. The reason why they did so well before was because the only silence effect we had was Purify, and nobody wanted to play Purify because Purify was seen as bad. I've always been in the belief that Purify was underrated. For people that remember, at one point I played Purify in every single Demacia deck I played, no matter what it was. I was running 1 to 2 Purify because I thought it was worth the slot. And yeah, sometimes I would dunk on Endure decks. But yeah, now that Hush is in the game, and Hush is seeing widespread play because it can hit champions, so Endure just kind of takes a hit. Otherwise, Endure would still be a strong deck. It's still okay. It's just now you have to worry about Hush. Like you can't just freely Atrocity your They Who Endure for wins now, because now you have to consider Hush if you're going up against Targon anyway. So yeah, Purify's not played at all anymore. But yeah, Hush is still kind of everywhere. Not like before, but it's definitely still being played enough. So like Sanctum Conservator doesn't have that problem, because all it has is a play skill, and then there's nothing left to Hush. Like it keeps its stats. So yeah, I could see that. I could see Endure style decks switching over to Shurima over Freljord. And then they kind of have Fearsome as like a backup win con type of thing. So yeah, I could see that. Kalista with Nasus, maybe? Right? Kalista with Nasus? That might be pretty cool. Alright, so Kozmic missed a card on his all-in-one visual. So we'll go over it really quick. It's Ruinous Path. It's a 2-mana slow spell, draw 1. If you've slain a unit this round, drain 2 from the enemy nexus. Yeah, that's pretty good. For the draw 1, I could see Nasus decks playing that. Because it replaces itself. If it didn't draw 1, it'd be pretty bad, actually. Because draining 2 from the enemy nexus, like that effect doesn't do much, and it's conditional on this card. So, but because it draws 1, I could see Nasus decks playing it. It's not amazing, but it's all right. Maybe it's not an auto include. I don't think. I think if Nasus decks have the space, then they'll put it in, but only if they have the space for it. Because it's mostly for paying 2 to draw 1. Like some people would say that drawing 1 off of 2 mana is not worth it, even in a game like this where mana is guaranteed. So isn't it a better late game Doom Beast? No, it's not. I'd rather have the 3/2 body for Doom Beast than a draw 1. Decks with Doom Beast are gonna look to close out the game pretty quickly. Whereas this is like you're hoping your next draw is good enough in that same scenario. So I don't know though. Like the more I look at Ruinous Path, the more I actually don't like it. Weirdly enough. I said it was pretty good, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, we'll see. It's kind of, it doesn't seem that good. It replaces itself, but it doesn't seem that good. There's champions that Ruinous Path, like Swain works okay with Ruinous Path. Just Noxus in general, but round 9 Ledros and Path. Yeah. I mean, doesn't do a ton, but yeah, you can combo it. Cut it in half and then drain the Nexus 2 more. So you basically do 12 damage. It's not like it's not that big a deal. And you draw 1. It's not that big a deal, because usually Ledros decks are like, Is that why you said it was better than Doom Beast? Because like there's decks that run Doom Beast and Ledros. Gohard did at one point. Gohard's not really around anymore. Very few people play it, but yeah, I don't know. That seems even with Ledros, it's not amazing. But yeah, Doom Beast is better than this card. For sure. All right. That was the last card we had to look at. To all the YouTube folks, I appreciate y'all watching this. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out, helps the channel grow, helps the video, push the video out to other people in the Legends of Runeterra community on YouTube. The algorithm likes as well. Subscribe if you've been enjoying the Runeterra content so far. I do have some more content planned once the set releases, so be on the lookout for that. And subscribe if you don't want to miss it. And for all the YouTube folks, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the video. For the people watching live on Twitch, we're gonna get back to playing a bit more Legends of Runeterra, and then we'll have kind of a special event a little later on. So yeah.